It is franchise tag day. At least the window opens. Doesn't mean that teams will do it today necessarily, but teams can use the franchise tag or transition tag between now, starting at 4 p.m. through March 8th, and any player who receives the tag will be eligible to continue negotiating a long-term deal with their team through July 15th. So you get tagged between now and the 8th of March. It just simply means we're going to continue to work on a long-term deal.
You just don't get to talk to anyone else.
Correct. Now, what do you do if you're the Falcons? Because there's only one guy, and it's Caleb McGarry. If you want to re-sign him, and whether he is the third or fourth best tackle, the fact is he's one of the best tackles available. Right. And he's your guy. Do you franchise tag him, knowing that if you can't work out a long-term deal, he's going to make $18 million this year? Now, for many of you, it may not sound like much, but I don't know if Caleb McGarry is an $18 million player, and now you're paying him the top 5 average of his position. I don't think he's that.
Yeah, he's not a Pro Bowler, but he is because, as you said, every year in pre, we see it. We watch teams, oh, my God, so-and-so paid how much for who? But that's the way, if you have a need, and the need is a tackle, there are only 4 or 5 guys that have starting experience that are in their prime, i.e. they're not on the wrong side of 30, and that's why McGarry would get that kind of coin. That's why it's funny, the 49ers free agent, same position, is just a slightly better version based on scouting. But, that's why we may just have to bite the bullet. I think, what my gut tells me?
What's that?
We will sign a deal to McGarry. McGarry will get a contract.
He'll get a contract.
Yeah. That's what my gut tells me.
If they sign him for 4 for $50, I'm good.
Yeah, but that's almost you and me.
I'm good.
Yes, man, you know what, Dansby? Call up McGarry and ask him to give a hometown discount. Of course, you don't get the hometown discount when you don't pick up the 5th-year option.
Yeah, and the other part of this is because offensive linemen are set at such a premium for teams around the league. It's not just the good teams. There will be somebody the team that has money, we're in a position where we have money, will be able to offer maybe more. And so this becomes now a situation where if you're McGarry, you can probably go for somewhere else and get more. If you're the Falcons, Mike, there's 2 plans here, guys. Franchise tag him, to Mike's point. You work out a deal. You give him 4 years, whatever the value is, and you keep it moving. Or you don't. And, Mike, part of your draft plan is we're going to go get another offensive tackle in this draft, and we're going to do it fairly early. We're not going to wait. If you feel like Ritter's your guy, we're not worried about quarterback.
Right.
So you can do this fairly early.
Yeah. Now, again, Fontenot is not Thomas, and we understand that, but the last time we went with an offensive lineman first round, 2019 with Chris Lindstrom. And we did then go back into the final or next to last pick to get Caleb McGarry. So that was a commitment to offensive line. But since then, it's been mostly skilled position players.
All right. That is the situation. By the way, any quarterback that you hear gets franchised, like Daniel Jones, that's $32 million if they can't work out a long-term deal. Running backs at $10 million. So if you franchise Saquon Barkley, $10 million, that's what he's going to get this season if you can't work out a long-term deal.
And I think they have to, because if you're going to stick with that quarterback, the only way that quarterback does anything is with that guy behind him.
I agree. Quarterback's more important, so they probably franchise Daniel Jones and then just pay Saquon Barkley.
Boy, is that the definition of tagging somebody and holding your nose while you do it? Because he's finally stepped up, but he's been the bare minimum.
It is. And just to put this in perspective, the O-line, right, across the board, like if you franchise a guy, it's $18 million. And again, top 5 of the best salaries, top 5 salaries. Corner is also 18. So the best corners, Bradbury or one of these guys that you might want to try to keep, you're going to franchise tag him, and at least he's getting $18 million. But more than likely, the corners, the best corners in the league, Mike, we've seen it. They're getting 25 or more now.
So I know a lot of guys, SquidBilly brought this up back before the season was over. Daron Payne was one of those guys we thought might be a nice fit, defensive tackle. Just to give you an idea of what you're paying for defensive tackles, to your point, is the same kind of money, $18 million. That's the franchise tag is for DTs.
For him, yeah, because he's one of the top. There's no doubt he's going to command $20 million a year. There's no doubt about it.
This is the bare minimum for your franchise tag. No. We're going to have next year, somebody will have a new franchise tag number based on how much these guys will get raises in free agency.
Let's hear Joel Corey. He's a capologist. He was on our morning show talking about Caleb McGarry and whether or not he believes he's going to receive the franchise tag.
I don't think you franchise him because an $18 million franchise tag is more than his multi-year market value. You try to get a deal done. The fifth-year option for $13.202 million was rightfully turned down last year. The most recent data point in the marketplace for right tackles is Jack Conklin's $15 million per year extension he signed right before the end of the regular season with the Browns. So something along those lines would probably make sense for him, and you could have a much lower cap number than you would have on a franchise tag or even the fifth-year option he's not playing on.
4 for 50. That's where I'm at. That's why. You pay this, you're overpaying, and if you give him this per year on a 4-year deal, you're definitely overpaying.
See, the thing is, if you give McGarry that money, you've also got to think about the fullback or running back is going to be behind him, chipping the guy that's trying to block. See, that's also when you're in pass protection. See, that's why I have a hard time signing off on that. You know,
Mike, I don't know. Turtle, maybe Beau, you guys know. Is Aaron Rodgers out of this closet thing? He's out.
It's been at least 4 days.
Is he alive? Do we know?
Not to use a biblical reference, do they roll the rock out and see if he's still there?
Is he okay? Has somebody witnessed Aaron Rodgers?
What we're all waiting to see is if he's going to make an appearance on Pat McAfee.
Yes.
All right.
So
okay,
we'll see probably tomorrow.
Well, the reason why I bring it up, he did his darkness retreat.
Yes. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Bob McGinn, who's been covering the Packers for a long time, this is what he said about Green Bay and Rodgers. He thinks this relationship is over.
My own instincts and knowing the NFL and knowing what happens after all these defeats and discussions with someone who just firsthand knowledge of this organization's of the Packers internal debates, that they are done with Rodgers. That's the way it is right now, that he's not coming back. I mean, they're disgusted with him and they're done with him and they're moving on. And this is going to involve money and a trade partner and all kinds of things. But I'm totally convinced he will not be their starting quarterback this year.
Wow. And again, this isn't a guy in California. This is a guy in Wisconsin talking about this team he covers.
Disgusted with him? Maybe disgusted with all the over-the-top antics, right? That's maybe what he's talking about. I don't know how you can be disgusted with the guy who won the MVP 2 years ago twice, but all this stuff that you have to deal with, Mike, it gets old.
Well, he made them go get Randall Cobb, and because, he wasn't really sold on the wide receiver core. He always has there's always a project player, a tight end or somebody he always wants around. I mean, it's hard if you're being just cold and analytical about it, just look at the facts. You blew your window with those 2 NFC championships, and now it's diminishing returns. And then last year, with the season on the line, he couldn't make the throws you needed him to. He made those mistakes. Against the 49ers, Aaron Rodgers did not generate the magic you needed in the divisional loss 2 years ago. So do you say, let him be the Jets' problem, and we'll go bank some picks, and we'll get back to work? Yeah. It might not be the worst idea.
No. And here's the other reason. I mean, we're kind of talking about was one-sided. You're going to pay Aaron what he's making, and you're also going to pick up the fifth-year option for Love and pay him $20 million. You're telling me you're paying $70 million for quarterbacks? It doesn't make any sense, Mike. It makes no sense. I get the Aaron contract, which is why McGinn was talking about a trade and a trade partner, but that is just dumb to have that much money allocated for a guy who's not even going to play sitting on the bench.
So now you wait and see. There's a lot of. I think this is going to be one of the most exciting, compelling. I think last year was too, between free agency, potential trades before the draft went down. There are a lot of movement. Cowboys in the mix now. Are they intrigued with CJ Stroud? Are they just throwing that out there? Now again, they'd have to move up from 26 to get there. And Jerry's obviously, he's made some great draft picks, but the team is speaking about a team that's missed its window. The Cowboys are floundering. And you don't want to flounder, Carl. They're floundering, And then would you trade Dak? And who would take Dak? And what would you get in return for Dak? Even if you wanted to entertain this idea.
I get back to Dallas. It's the coaching situation. I don't think it's the players.
No, I'm with you 100%, man.
I think they got the guys. They just haven't put it together. It's Dukes and Bell. It's our NFL Blitz.